Robert is with us in Alberta, Canada. Hi, Robert. How are you?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
All right. I'm looking to buy my first house with my wife. We have about $150,000 saved, and my in-laws are being generous and lending us about $100,000 to help with the down payment. That's enough for us to get a decent townhome in our area, and that way we would only owe family. But at that payback rate they want with my in-laws, we have room for about $100,000 mortgage while staying below your recommended 25% limit. We're wondering if it's a good idea to take the mortgage, if as a result we might stay in the home longer. Or am I just trying to talk myself into debt?
Well, it sounds like all of these decisions are made except the last one, so I'm not sure how much I'll be able to influence this because you all aren't going to like my answer. I would recommend you don't take out a loan with your in-laws.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The borrower is slave to the lender, and when you owe your father-in-law money, Thanksgiving dinner tastes different.
Yeah. All right.
This is how families end up not speaking to each other. And they are not necessarily, they probably aren't because you didn't bring it up. They're probably very kind, not controlling people. That will all change the first time you miss a payment. And suddenly where you went on vacation, the brand of the kids' clothes matters. They're looking at every decision you make with money as to whether they get paid or not. They can't keep from doing it because they're human beings. Now, how bitter they are, angry they are, or toxic they are in response to those situations could be different depending on how wonderful people they are. But it doesn't matter. You're going to feel different. Your wife won't feel as much of it as you will, but you're going to feel it. And so that's my speech. I would not do that. I would highly recommend. I will never loan my children money, ever. Now, I may give them some money if I've got some extra money. To do something like you're talking about, I would make that a gift personally. But that's pretty bold to ask for that on your part. But anyway, all of that to say, yeah, I would buy a house that your down payment plus your mortgage that you can afford would purchase, not an in-law loan. But again, Robert, I have no expectation for you to follow that advice because you guys have already kind of discussed it. You're comfortable with it. You threw it out there like I'm picking out a shirt. You didn't think about it at all.
Yeah, and I hope people don't miss what you just said because the dynamic changes when you start talking about your in-laws doing anything for you. I remember before we got married, we were doing some counseling. We came back from a counseling session, premarital, and Stacy's father met us at the door, and he had been working through her finances before she came into our marriage, and she had not a huge amount, may have been about $15,000 as the student loans. And I was ready to take it on. We had already talked through it. I had no student loan debt at the time. All that to say, he surprised us and he said, we want to give you this. We want to start you all off. And it was just really, really wonderful.
That's very nice, yeah.
But even though it was a gift, Dave, it was still in the back of my mind.
It still touches the pride button.
Yes, yeah. And that's what I'm glad you called it that because it still felt like, and it wasn't my debt, but it was going to be our debt.
Yeah.
And it was in the back of my mind like I owed him something, and it didn't turn into any kind of tension because I got
But it was
over
a gift.
it.
It was a gift.
It was a complete gift.
But if you had to pay that payment, that would have really been.
It was already jacking with me just because it was a gift, and I think that's what I want people to hear. Why would you want to do that?
Exactly. I have trouble, just as a general category in my life. I'm not as bad at it now. Receiving gifts.
Yeah,
I always have. I'm a giver. I'm generous,
sure.
but I'm not real good at receiving. I'm not even good if you pick up the tab at dinner. I always want to be the guy.
Where do you think that comes from?
I don't know. Pride, probably. But I am much more able to do that than I am. The only time I've ever gotten in this situation personally is Sharon's dad is an absolute saint. He is an incredible, easy to get along with guy on the planet. Never said an unkind word since, and 40 years I've been married to her. I've never heard him say anything unkind, except the opposite political party.
Right.
Occasionally he'd say something, but
sure.
But and he's wrong about that. But
right.
But he's a wonderful guy. And when we went bankrupt, he loaned us a little money to get the house caught up and do some things. And man, he never said a single thing. It was all paid back, but my stomach
Yeah.
was not the same until I got that cleared.
Yeah.
You talk about, like you said, jacked with you, messed with you.
Yes.
And the old joke is anybody you loan money to, it changes the relationship.
It does.
It changes a friendship. It changes your roommate.
Mm-hmm.
It changes you loan money to your girlfriend. Oh, that screwed that whole thing up. Anybody, when you loan money to someone, you change it from whatever the mother-father relationship to master-slave.
Yep.
Friend to master-slave. And the old joke is if you loan your brother-in-law $100 and he never pays it back, but he never speaks to you again, is it worth it?
Yeah.
Right. But that's
Right.
that's the kind of thing you can get into. Now, again, I will say clearly, the way Robert presented that, I'm pretty sure his in-laws are not toxic people.
That's right.
I think they're probably like Sharon's dad.
Yeah.
But it will change.
Well, you nailed it. It'll weigh on him. So let's say he's talking about the vacation, and maybe they don't even look at him sideways, but he wonders, did I see a look? Did I? You start manifesting things.
Yeah.
To your point, your father-in-law never said anything negative, never has, but it was in your head so
That's where I
much.
came up with the saying.
I think you're right.
Thanksgiving dinner
I think you're
doesn't
right.
taste the same
I
because
think
I
that's right.
experienced that.
You did. Yeah.
I'm sitting at the Thanksgiving table thinking about this, and he's not thinking about it.
Yeah.
It didn't bother him a bit,
Yeah.
but because he's a kind master,
Yeah.
and I was a rebellious slave.
That's right. That's right. Well, it reminds us of our good friend Henry Cloud, talking about boundaries. That's a boundary that I think you're right. It should always be set. Don't take a loan from family members.
Folks,
ever.
if you want to help your children, and you have the extra money, and you want to give them some money, no strings attached, no controlling, that's fine. But no co-signing for them. For God's sakes, don't co-sign for people. And no loaning. Don't loan them money. You will mess up what should have been a good, pure thing.